I am here. Ooh, okay, there we go. I am here with Owen Anderson, who I know through the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Patreon group. How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good last weekend, but humid as heck up here. So I figured for the people that don't know, kind of what are your main collections? Like what kind of series do you collect? And then kind of what got you into collecting?
Yeah, it changes a lot. Like I'll want to collect something, I'll kind of start it, and then it'll just kind of end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a quitter, so. Yeah, I mean, right now, I would probably have to say I'm looking at my wall with all the figures.
Let's
Let's see. Recently it's been Ruthless Aggression figures I've been getting my hands on, and I mean, those are super expensive now, which, I mean, I used to find
exactly.
Toys R Us for $10 back when I was 4 or 5. It's just like, oh yeah, this John Cena is worth, $40-$50. It's like, dude, I got that for like $5 back in the day. Like, what happened?
Yeah. People start looking back, like the older collectors that collected during the Ruthless Aggression era, just like, oh, I sold all my stuff. Now I kind of want to get it back.
Oh yeah, that's what Cardone, he pretty much sold it all and then bought it all back. I'm like, you're insane.
Exactly. He's done that a million times.
Oh yeah, he'll say it all the time. Yeah. Ruthless Aggressions. I'm thinking about getting into the classic superstars. There's a few on Macari that I actually found for pretty decent prices. It's a Ric Flair and Barry Windham 2-pack, and I was like,
okay.
$60. Like, yeah, that's I mean, that's not cheap, but I mean, compared to some other ones, like, that's pretty cheap if you ask me.
Yeah, and are you gonna put like specific limits on what you're gonna collect in the classic superstars? Because there's so many variants and special editions, and then you get into like the Kyle Peterson, like one of like 25.
I know that guy.
Right?
Yeah. It's not like I've been to his house or anything.
I know. I want to stop by there when I'm in Iowa again, and just do like a walkthrough again, because he's added so much more to it.
Like, he adds new stuff like every day, I feel like.
Yeah, this is his dad's favorite show. That's what like makes me laugh all the time. He's like, my dad loves this show.
Yeah, it's great. Oh man. But yeah, the classic superstars for me, like, I don't have a lot right now. I only have here, I'll pull it up. Just one moment.
All right.
Here, I'm off camera showing. So a good friend of mine, I got a Hogan Warrior.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell the price. I spent way too much on this.
It's only gonna go up in value though, because it is such an iconic 2-pack with WrestleMania 6.
Of course, yeah, of course, limited edition even. So, because I mean, he's a good friend of mine, but he was like, I really wanted it, and I was like, oh no, because he's one of those guys, like, he wants one too, because it's his, but he had two, and we're like, oh, we're good. He's like, yeah, I'll sell the other one. I'm like, yes. So
nice.
I got that one. But yeah, that's really the only classic superstars I own. I need to get more, but yeah, like the Ric Flair and Barry Windham 2-pack, I think I can get my hands on. I would really like to get it's a 3-pack of Sabu, Cactus Jack, and Terry Funk.
Oh yeah, that one's rising in price. Yeah, ECW.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. I get in, like, this is the bad part about collecting for me. I want to start collecting stuff in the worst times possible. I'm like,
yeah, like as soon as they're hitting like peak popularity.
Exactly, because if I went to a convention in like 2014, I would have saw Classic Superstar. Yeah, whatever. Now it's like, oh my gosh, but they're like triple the price, and it's like, ah. So right. It's a curse. I believe it's a curse. It's not fair.
Oh my gosh. So then I see some Ghostbusters up in the back. Have you always been a big fan of Ghostbusters?
Oh my gosh, dude. So the cartoon, obviously I wasn't alive for, obviously. But I remember, like, I mean, way back in the day, this is probably like mid 2000s still. Remember when Blockbuster was still a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Those were the best.
They had the real Ghostbusters like cartoon on DVD, and
Yeah.
I saw the first one when I was little, and I loved it. I was like, this movie is awesome, and my dad was telling me, yeah, the commish. She was like, yeah, there was a cartoon when I was a kid, and like 4 or 5 year old me, what? And then
Yeah.
like
So did you watch the movies first, like the movies, or did you watch the cartoon first?
So I watched them. I saw the first movie originally, and then I didn't see the second one for years, and then watched the cartoon, then watched the second movie. Like random.
Yeah,
but
that's such a weird.
It's good. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am a big fan of the two. It's not as popular, but
It's so
it's a good. It's good for a sequel.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
it could have been better, but I feel like they were just like we capitalized on the money because it was like the cartoon had done really well. The second movie comes out, and then they, I would always go to Florida because my grandparents lived there, and we would go to Universal and go to the Ghostbusters show. And I was like, this was like peak. I was like, I always thought Ghostbusters was gonna be that where I was gonna be, or that show was gonna be there forever. And they got replaced by Twister in like 2003 or four, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's not there anymore. But if you like where the Rip Ride Rocket is,
Yeah,
in that area, if I'd have to literally take you to Universal to show you, but like you can, there's a path like you can keep going, and like I think it's the clock tower or something, and like, or not the clock tower, that's Back to the Future.
it should be like part of the firehouse or something. Like,
Yeah,
no, the library, but they have the library.
they had like that set. It's still there. Like there was a dude I saw on YouTube. He like did a whole vlog about it, and I was like, it's still there. I'm like, and I've been going, and I've been a loser not checking that out. I'm like, what's wrong with me? But
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, you call yourself a ghost head?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, back to my story. So they had the DVD, and I was like, well, I love the movie. I want to watch this cartoon. And I remember I watched the whole cartoon in a day, and I was like, I'm blown away. Like it was so good.
What was your opinion on Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters when it was his own show, basically, and it was like that bootleg Ghostbuster? We kept trying to capture him with the cat. Like, did you ever watch that? It was like eventually by like the seventh, or I think the sixth or seventh season, Slimer had become so popular they switched. They kind of did an offshoot called Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters to kind of morph the show into that, where it had like regular episodes, but it also had like a little bit with like most of the show was centered around Slimer and this other bootleg ghost hunter that has like a cat as a sidekick and like is trying to capture him.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
Look it up on YouTube. Definitely look it up on YouTube, or I think Netflix or Amazon Prime might still have them.
I'll have to check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm speaking as another huge Ghostbusters fan. I love to see that it's still alive, and like I can't wait for Afterlife and like all the new toys that are coming out, because it's like, oh, I can just buy this new instead of paying for like the one I had as a kid, paying like $200.
I think Mark talked about it on the podcast. He was like, it's literally the same thing. Like there is no difference. The packaging is the same. They literally just took it. All right, we're gonna remake it. Boom, and then
it's like the Ghost Popper when that came out. I was like, that brings me back to like going to KB and Toys R Us, and like I was like, it was funny because I had like almost everything except the Ecto 2 and the Ecto 3, and I was like, and those are my grails now to kind of get, because they're small enough I can kind of put them up on my Ghostbusters section.
Oh yeah, for sure. I keep them MOC because I love the packaging. It's like, oh, this is like original. It's not like a remake where they try to make it look cooler when it really doesn't look cooler. Like it's the OG real deal. So
do you have the who you gonna call packaging, or do you just have it just says the Ghostbusters on the top?
Ooh.
I think Slimer and Stay Puft you might have. They says who you gonna call on the top.
Yep, it says it right there. I can see it.
Okay. But I was like, if you find any of the regular Ghostbusters, the original 4 with that on it, grab it, because they had to get cut because they didn't realize Kenner was paying Ray Parker Jr. royalties because like it's his song, or
right. Oh, okay.
And they didn't license that part, so they had to like cut it. Yeah.
Didn't even notice that, huh?
Learn something new every day.
Boom! There you go. Yeah.
So we talked about the commish, aka your dad, David C. Anderson, the only guy that I've ever met that will amass collections and then be like, "Yeah, I'm done," and then sell them.
It's
and then kind of like, so was that always a part? I remember you talking to MWO just about like you playing with figures, like because like your dad would buy figures for himself and then figures for you, or would you guys kind of share them after a while?
Well, you have to remember. So like, okay, so I got into wrestling like 07, 08.
Yeah.
So like big, like John Cena
Like
era.
the second, I feel like the second big boom, not as big as the Attitude Era, but the second big boom
Yeah.
of wrestling.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, you have to kind of remember, like, and I'm, 07, 08, I'm 3 or 4 years old. So like, I'm still,
Making me feel ancient, man.
what's up?
You're making me feel ancient here.
It's funny. All the MWO guys are like, "You're making us feel old," like saying all that.
Right?
Like, I'm sorry, but
So that's kind of when you really remember, like, have the memories of like wrestling, because your dad's been a lifelong
oh,
fan, but you just remember. That's what you remember. That's the era that you start to actually have memories of.
yeah. So like, I always talk like Ruthless Aggression, which to some people they think I'm crazy. That is my favorite era, because like,
That was a good era.
yeah, I grew up in it. Like I was little, and then I became a little kid, and like John Cena was still the big thing. Like for me, like for my dad, Hulk Hogan was his guy. For me,
Yeah.
was my guy. I still
Yeah, I
love
mean, you
Hogan.
grew up. Yeah, but you grew up in that perfect era where Cena started to, like, Vince was like, okay, you're gonna be the next Hogan,
Yeah,
where
oh,
it's gonna be like you're gonna be the kids. It started morphing into that because it used to just be like, he was like all the, you know, all the teenagers and stuff. Like when I
yeah.
was,
And then
I was like sophomore year of high school. I told this on one of the boozing with the toys. Uh, we had to do a thing where we had to pick 3 songs of like in English class, and I picked Basic Thugonomics, uh, Viva La Raza, and then I believe in a thing called Love, because that was like the
oh
huge
yeah,
hit by the Darkness. But I remember I wrote down and I performed Basic Thugonomics because it was like if you could know all the words, like you get extra credit. So I was
oh,
like, I was a huge Cena mark. I still am. It's like, I get like the older fan, like my age, that grew up and was like, oh, he was so much cooler as a heel, like going after Brock Lesnar and stuff. But it's just like that's the natural progression, and I'm not gonna. No fan that complains would say no if Vince McMahon was like, I'm gonna pay you as much as Cena does to main event everything and win. No one's gonna say no to that.
right.
You know?
Yeah, but yeah, I was little. Yeah, because the funny thing is, like when he was like the basic thugonomic, or not basic, doctor of thugonomics, I was still kind of a baby, like 04, 05, like I was still a
Yeah.
baby. So like I don't really remember it. I just remember like the, hustle, loyalty, respect. But I mean, I was a little kid. I mean, we go to those shows and like Cena's just getting booed, and I'm, being the 5, 6 year old, I'm like, what's going on? This guy's awesome. But it's older,
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy sucks, But I understand. I totally get
Yeah.
it.
Were you the kid that had like the matching, like when he changed colors, you get like
Yep.
the red armbands,
Oh my gosh,
red hat?
I would go to school wearing that.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
got, and like, I'm like, I no wonder why I got made fun of. I look like an idiot. Like, what's mom and dad? Why'd you let me go to school like
Yeah.
that?
Like, yeah, it's like at least like I would do the same thing. I remember one year in middle school I went as Mankind for Halloween.
Nice.
But it was during the Attitude Era, so you got away with it because you could wear like it's like edgy because you got in trouble for wearing your Suck It shirt or like your
Oh yeah.
Austin shirt and stuff. Like I remember I would put it in my backpack. I put my Austin 316 shirt in my backpack, and then switch into it at school. Like because my mom was like, "You can't wear that at school." I was like, "Oh, but I love it." That was like
It's a great shirt.
that. That might have been my favorite shirt. I think I tried to wear that almost every day of the week.
Oh my gosh.
When I was like as a kid, I was like, "Oh, I gotta wash it," or it's like, "Oh, I could wear it one more day."
Oh man. But yeah, no, to answer your question about the figures. See, my dad, like, it's weird because from a younger age, I don't remember him being as big of a collector as he is now. Like
Mm.
I remember like he would have, oh man. Like do you remember the Triple H entrance greats? It's like the one from WrestleMania.
Yeah, with the
Awesome.
weird jeans and stuff, like because it has like because they're not molded. They're like the weird. They look like a Mezco soft goods jeans and jacket, right?
No,
Isn't
I'm
that the one?
I'm talking about the one from WrestleMania 22 where he has like.
Oh yeah, sorry. I kept thinking it was the
Oh, you're good.
defining moments Triple H.
No. The
Yeah.
entrance grades. Like I remember he had that, and I don't remember how. I don't know if he gave it to me or we traded, but I remember having it at one point. I think I got like he gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like he had that. He had that Edge figure that I broke.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I told him after I did the show, I'm like, hey, I kind of told him that. He goes, yeah, I'm still mad about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
like 10 years ago. You're still.
Well, especially that one's going up again, I think,
Oh
in
my God.
pricing.
Well, okay, you don't leave a figure for a 5-year-old Owen defined. Like,
Yeah.
they were brand new. I'm like, it's Edge. Okay, I can have Cena beat up Edge. That's what I wanted,
Yeah, like that's what he's doing on TV.
Yeah, like, I talked about, I hated Edge. For the longest time, I hated Edge. Like, he beats up John Cena. I don't like him.
Yeah, that's what I felt the same way with Triple H. Like when he was doing when he first turned on DX.
Oh,
And then and then the McMahon Helmsley era, like that was peak. I wrote a report on like how much I hated.
Oh my God, dude.
That's how good of a heel he is.
He was, honestly, like, people, hated on him like in 02, 03, 04 when he was like, he would never drop the title, but like, he's a heel. Like, he's, if you look at it where like, okay, he's married to the boss's daughter. He's like one of the, he's a great heel, he's a great wrestler. Like, yeah, I mean, you're supposed to hate him, right?
Yeah, but also he's a better champion being a heel, trying to keep the title than he is a babyface chasing the title.
I agree with that 100%.
And I just feel like he and also like I think he said it before. Someone said like they were waiting like for the next person to step up, like because Batista had just started doing his stuff, so they're like, let's have him go to SmackDown. But I think once Cena came to Raw and stepped up, he was, that was towards the end of him being, a chokehold in the World Championship.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, because like my dad hated him, and it was funny because we were watching AEW Wednesday, and I forget how it came up, but it came up somehow, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I would be that guy that like everyone hated Triple H, but I'd be like, I love you, Triple H, you're so great, because I love all people everyone hates. It's just it's funny.
Oh God, that's awesome. So you're just like, oh, like you kind of now go against the grain a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm the guy that like so John Moxley, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
I know a few people like, yeah, he's okay. I'm like, okay, people just seem to hate him. I'm like, I love you, Moxley.
Yeah, I think also a lot of the people, if you're not a hardcore wrestling fan, it's like you just saw him on the Shield, but it's like they didn't really let him do too much in the Shield.
They let him.
They were just like, you're here. It's basically going to be Roman and Seth that we're shooting to the moon. You're going to kind of be, second banana.
Yeah, for sure. I love him. I think he's great. He can pretty much have most freedom of what he wants to say or do, and I think it's great. I never cared for him in WWE, but seeing him in AEW, being the champ, I like this guy. Like, he's my favorite. Like, I like this guy.
But
so.
they're letting him be creative.
Yeah, absolutely. And WWE let him do that. So.
Yeah, if he was in WWE like 15, 20 years ago, then yeah, he probably would have been.
It's a different time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also I kind of wanted to get into this. I've never met anybody more obsessed with Mountain Dew. Maybe my girlfriend's dad. He might be the only other person that might match it. But there it is.
Open it, ready?
You used to have a podcast about Mountain Dew. Is it still going on, or is it more Owen's reviews now?
I mean, in fairness, it really hasn't been anything. It sucks because I really want to do a podcast and I really want to kind of do what you're doing, really be in the grind and keep it going. But I don't know, with work and then with driver's ed, and then school coming up, it's just so busy and I just haven't had a lot of time to
but like high school, I feel like, like all the people doing TikTok and stuff, but like you want to sit down and actually bring people content for more than like 6 seconds. So it's like, I feel like at the age that you're at, it's very hard because people think, oh, you're a kid, you have all the time in the world. Like, remember back in high school, like you really didn't, because you actually have to study and actually do homework and do work to get your license. Like, I already have my license. I already went to school. It's like I have like more free time to just be like to do the content. But it's good. I like that you're trying things.
Yeah, thanks. appreciate it. It's difficult, and like, people will just do TikTok. It's so much easier. I'm like, okay, you literally come up with that at the top of your head in 6 seconds. I actually want to sit down and like, what can we do to make this entertaining for a good 30 minutes? Like, you know what I mean? And just people, kids my age are dumb. Let's be honest. So.
Yeah, all kids. When I was your age, I was just as dumb.
Well, it's cool.
But also, I mean, you could do YouTube like the reels, because I see like some people, like some retro like thrift hunters will have thousands of views just from like, hey, here's a little tip. They do like a 4 or 5 minute video.
Yeah, I've tried YouTube a couple times. Nothing really. There's a lot of reasons, that we can save that for another day. But just I think being busy, and then I think a lot of times I run out of ideas. Like I'll have all these ideas, we'll do all of them, and then it's like, oh, what's next?
Yeah.
So, and I think I run out, and it is what it is. I just maybe one of these days I can get something. I have not had a lot of time to like sit down and like figure something out. Because when I started Owen's review, I wasn't working as many hours. I was only working like 3 hours, and then like a week later I started working 5 hours. So I'm working more, and then in July, driver's ed started. So like I like stuff keeps happening, and I just haven't had a lot of time to sit down and do something. So, but who knows? Maybe after doing a few of these interviews, I might have to get back into it.
All right, dust off the mic, as they say.
It's actually pretty dusty right now.
You gotta keep it dust free. Have you kind of got? We just had the Card Pod Foundation on.
Oh yeah.
And have you kind of got bit by the card bug in general? Like I got bit by the wrestling card bug, but I didn't know if you got like Pokemon or.
Oh, nice.
Any of that stuff.
So I was into cards, like wrestling, like right before the pandemic hit. It was like 2019. I remember it was a little after WrestleMania. I remember, like I was in the store, and a few of the YouTubers I watched were like opening cards, and I was like, oh, and like I know wrestling cards obviously, but like I hadn't collected in a long time, and I was like, maybe I'll give this a try, and then like I just got hooked because I was still like into the WWE product. I'm not really into it anymore. I was opening them, and like I would buy so many of those, and then I don't remember when. I think it was a little before or it was like the early start of the pandemic. I just kind of stopped and kind of got out of it and wasn't really into the WWE stuff. But if AEW does cards, I'll have to get a box of those, because like I had no clue, but like TNA had cards like way back in the day, and I was like, what? Like, no way.
Yeah, right.
It's like
it's like this rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad I'm not into cards. Like, I love the Card Foundation pod. Like, they're great guys.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that I'm not into that. Like, I was even telling Papa Bear at Live 8, I was like, dude, like, I think it's so cool you do this. I'm so glad I'm not into this. He was like, why? I'm like, I'm already addicted to figures, and I already spent a ton of money on that. He's like, oh. And he started giggling. He's like, yeah, I don't blame you. I'm like, dude.
They're lucky where that's their main avenue. But, like, for us, it's like, oh, we want figures, but we want other things, too. And it's like, you only have so much.
Like, and that's probably, like, I love T-shirts. And,
okay.
Went up in like, homage. Like, I'm wearing homage right now, but, like, those are, like, $36 now. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, even
they're so comfortable, though.
They're literally, besides brand I buy off Amazon that has, like, soda T-shirts, besides those, like, homage is the best. Like, those two are great. So
I have the Razor Ramon one. Like, I wear that all the time. Like, that's like a second skin.
I had it, but I am such an idiot. I like swam in it one time.
No.
And I remember like my dad's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I honestly don't know. I think I had a lot of do in me. I probably was not great. Because like that was my favorite shirt, and then I ruined it like an idiot. So I was like, crap.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I miss it.
Dang. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Also your collection. NASCAR, like the ones you find at Walmart, like I'm into like the movie cars like that size, like the Batmobiles and Ecto ones and DeLoreans, and those little soda ones that they have and the
Oh.
Japanese cars, like occasional some of the Japanese cars. But what kind of got you? Are you a NASCAR fan by nature, or did you just like the cars?
So it's weird because like when I was little, I thought NASCAR was the dumbest thing ever. Like I just like not no disrespect. I thought it was stupid. I'm like,
Yeah, if you don't get it, you don't get it. You know.
right. Like I was like, who would want to watch cars go in circles for hours? Like what? Like, and my uncle is a huge NASCAR fan. Like loves it. Was a big Dale Jr. guy. Like he watched it as a kid. And I like for years I thought it was dumb. But the funny thing was like I used to love like Speed Racer and
Mhm.
Cars, the Disney movie. Like I used to love those. So I want to say probably about a year ago, I think I was just bored one day and I kind of put NASCAR on. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of exciting. And then just kind of fell in love with it. Even my mom had kind of told me like, well, you know, you used to like cars and speed racers. Like it kind of makes sense. And I was like, oh yeah. So, but I remember, you know, seeing my favorite driver, Chase Elliott. I was like, wait, he's sponsored by Mountain Dew? All right, he's my favorite. And then
There you go.
oh, this guy's actually pretty good. Like, oh, okay. And then now I'm hooked. It's bad.
And it's just like, do you almost have a complete set of those? Because I feel like they don't come out with too many each year.
No, they honestly, I think they come out with about 2 sets a year, which, like, you tell that to Mr. Matt Cardona, what?
Yeah,
What do I
right.
do? Like, he would be
I'm
screwed.
gonna sell the whole set in between them being released.
Yeah. He would be so screwed. I feel bad for him, but no, let's see. I think I have one whole set. I have like 4 different Chase Elliott's because I'm a psychopath. And then I have
Okay.
like I'm weird. I kind of get guys I like. Like if it's like so you know who Kyle Busch is?
Yeah,
Like I hate him. I despise him. Like not a fan at all. I hate
he had a pretty epic downfall.
he really did. Like he was really good and then just kinda
Yeah, and that is all. Like, just people were just like, I don't like this guy.
well like who likes that guy? That guy is not likable at
Yeah.
all. But you know, anyway, we'll do another
You begrudgingly bought his car though. Did you have to do it to complete the set?
Shh. Yeah, unfortunately I did. I have one. I'm like
Shame.
even my dad was like, because my dad doesn't like him. Like my dad's not really a NASCAR fan, but like he doesn't like Kyle Busch. He's like, why would you buy that? I'm like, I have to have it for the set.
Yeah.
He's like, shame. But
Yeah.
I have a couple people I don't like, but you know, I have like Jeff Gordon and yeah, I love Jeff Gordon. I'm just looking over here. I have Martin Truex Jr., Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, William Byron. So yeah, all those guys.
Nice. And then what? Did you get the pops too? Like the NASCAR, like they had Jeff Gordon and I think Dale.
Yeah,
Jr.
yeah. I've got Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon. I've got Bubba Wallace Jr. I'm still looking for that Chase Elliott. I cannot find it. I need to find it. But it's funny. Funny story. So Toy Hio, I know you weren't there, but Toy Hio, they had that. That's where I got that Dale Earnhardt Funko, and I needed it because I'm like, well, I got Dale Jr. You know, might as well grab Dale Earnhardt. So I grab it, I buy it, and you know, we go on with the meet and greet. I'm helping out with the line, and I put the Funko Pop where like my dad's bag was, which was like the guys were here and it was behind them. We were cleaning up, and like Brian was like getting his stuff, and he like looked at Funko, he grabbed it, he's kind of asking like, who's this? And then he goes, oh, is this yours? And I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, I don't know you like NASCAR. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. So here you go. I'm like, thanks. Like,
It's like a weird random thing to like be a fan of, but also be collecting toys of.
yeah,
Like that
yeah.
thing, you know.
Like, yeah, Brian. It's not like you follow me on social media and see my posts, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I see. You don't check out my stories on Instagram.
Yeah, he follows me, so I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, how do you miss that? That's all I post about. No, I love you, buddy. You're an awesome dude.
So the last final thing I kind of want to use to wrap up, what is your current grail that you're looking for your collection? Be it NASCAR, wrestling, Ghostbusters, comics.
Ooh, that's a good one. Nothing for NASCAR. Not really a grail. I mean, that Funko Pop I would really like to find. Not really a grail. I really don't know. I kind of have a Batman collection going, but I mean, nothing like that. I'm like, I gotta have this.
Mm.
I'm just kind of looking, seeing if I needed anything. I have the Moxley Chase, not the new one, but the old one. Ooh, I really don't know. I don't think I have anything, which is like super weird for me because I usually have like.
Yeah. What about classic superstars? Is there one like it doesn't have to be like a realistic girl, but just like that would be cool if somehow like I came across.
Probably probably that triple the
Terry Funk Sabu and Cat
yeah, probably that one. I forget what they're called. There's like they were like bigger figures. Kyle would know. I forget what they're called, but they're like bigger figures. They were in the Classic Superstars line. Like Hogan had one. I mean, that would be cool to have. Kyle actually just reviewed it. It's the like Winged Eagle box set with Hogan. That would be kind of cool. Like
with like Hogan through the years.
I actually that one too, but there's one. It's the Winged Eagle belt, the toy belt, and it comes with a Hogan figure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's that one. A lot of Hogan stuff, just because like it's so sad. I had like a ton of Hogan stuff, not that stuff, but I had like multiple Hogan items. Like I had that like old school jacket from like the 90s. I sold that. Like I sold all that stuff. I barely left, and I'm like, well, now I gotta get some of that back. Like,
it runs in the family. I feel like this whole thing of like, oh yeah, I got rid of it. Now it's like I need it back.
It's sad. Well, not really any Hogan stuff. I sold some of the stuff to a buddy of mine who's a big Hogan collector, but it's mainly figures. But like, there's a few things I'm like, why did I sell that? Like, I had this poster and it was like the 24-inch Pythons one. I literally sold it. I'm like, why? But probably because it was just sitting like with all my other crap.
Yeah, you're just like it's not like I can get money for it, like to buy the stuff I'm into at the moment.
Like that jacket I sold for over $100. Like,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I've been there too, where it's like, oh, like I don't really need this in my collection anymore, and I want to use it to get this. So it's like, but then it's like a year or two later, you're like, dang, I kind of like it. Like I kind of want it back.
I miss it now. Dang it.
Do you have anything to plug? Anything coming up?
If you want to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, @give_me_MTNDoob. If you want to follow, I do post a decent amount. I've been trying to cut back a little bit because, and I've just been busy, so I haven't really had a chance to post as much. But yeah, if you want to follow me once again, @give_me_MTNDoob. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Owen.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.